What is going on, family? So today we are going to bake up some low-carb peanut butter cookies. This recipe comes from Joe Duff, the diet chef. Check him out, got great recipes. But I'm gonna show you that it is not hard. It's actually very simple. It's 5 ingredients and 7 minutes in the oven. So first off, I'm gonna get a couple more eggs out. So we're gonna start by preheating our oven to 350 degrees, and we have to separate our eggs. So this recipe calls for 4 eggs. We're just using the yolks, so we have to separate out the egg whites, which if you've never done this before, it does take a little bit of a skill set, and it's really just as simple as cracking it a little bit, and then boom. And we're gonna dump that, just the yolk, in our bowl. Throw those, I'm not throwing those on the ground. All right, so real simple, real easy. Wash your hands a little bit afterwards. And now we have 4 egg whites set aside. You could use those for breakfast or for whatever else you want to do, or just chuck them, whatever the case may be. All right, next is our peanut butter. You do specifically want to use one of these natural peanut butters, no sugar added. And also make sure it's one of them that's runny. There are natural ones that aren't runny like this. But you're gonna find that if you use just a regular, like a dry one that you don't have to mix up, the cookies themselves are gonna come out not soft. They're not gonna crumble very well. And it's just gonna be a mess for you. So, real quick, I'm making a freaking mess over here. So real quick, we are going to add, our bowl's on the scale already. We're going to add 160 grams of this peanut butter into our bowl. So 160 grams later, and a little bit of a mess to clean up. We got our peanut butter in the bowl. And next is our Confectioners Sugar. We love our Swerve, 0 carb. It says 3 on the back, but the FDA requires them to consider erythritol a carb. So there is 3 grams in a serving here, but because it really has no impact, or it's shown to have no impact on insulin levels and stuff, it's not really considered a carb. So we're going to zero out our scale again, and we are going to use up 80 grams of confectioner sugar in here, which is quite a bit. But that's really going to give our cookies a sweet taste, and give us, soothe that sweet tooth that we're really looking for. All right, put that back. And then one thing I like to do, just to give it another good taste, 1 teaspoon of vanilla extract. I like to do. That's what the recipe calls for. 1 teaspoon is about a heaping capful, so we'll just add just a little bit more because we only have just a little bit more in there. So that's garbage. And our last but not least, almond flour, right? So this one here, 5 grams of carbohydrates, 3 grams of fiber, which then makes about 2 grams of net carbs per serving. So we're going to use about 2 servings of this, so 56 grams. I like to measure everything out using a scale when I'm baking, just because it makes everything much more accurate. So we're going to throw in 56 grams here. And that's gonna add about 10 grams of carbs, but again, that's 6 grams of fiber with that, so about 4 grams of net carbs for the whole thing. This here makes usually between, depending on the size of cookie you want, I don't have a cookie scoop, so I just kind of eye them up, but usually between 11 and 15 cookies. So we're gonna stir this up, got our spatula out, and we're gonna make a ball out of this. Alright guys, so you kind of see where I'm going with this. Just give it a little swirl, a couple of stabs, mix that stuff in good, another swirl. The swirl itself with this type of spatula gets it right off the side, and now you got yourself a nice ball of dough. And you could smell that peanut butter. This is also why you use that runny peanut butter too, makes mixing it up by hand that much easier. And we're looking good now. So we're going to put our spatula to the side. Oh, don't want it in the eggs. And that is what our dough looks like. And we're going to then transfer it over to our baking sheet lined with parchment paper. I am going to personally use the tablespoon that I was using before to kind of scoop these out. And just do it by hand. You know, you don't need to go crazy with, you know, special equipment or anything like that. So just make little balls, and we're putting them down. All right, so that right there, we made 11 cookies out of what we had. Nice and easy. Now the recipe itself calls for you to press them down a little bit with a fork. So you're kind of making them into, you're sort of making them flatter. That's why I made them into balls to begin with. What this is going to do is press them down, get them into that flatter shape, but it's also just going to give the cookie itself a nice look. You know, presentation is a little bit, I'm not really big on measuring out sizes and stuff like that, but you still want everybody to go, oh, that's good looking cookie as they're devouring them, I guess. But this also presses them down. You know, a flatter object will bake a lot easier, a lot quicker. And like I said, it just looks good. So we're gonna finish that up. I'm gonna throw them in the oven now at 350 for 7 minutes, and we'll come back when they're done. So that's it, guys. That's as simple and easy a low-carb peanut butter cookie recipe can get. Again, that comes from Joe Duff, the diet chef. I took these off the tray. After we take them out of the oven, I let them sit for about 10 minutes or so. So this is 10 minutes later. Beautiful looking cookie, thanks to those fork marks that we put in there. As you can see, just split right open, nice and moist. I'm sure you can't get that with the camera there, but oh my God. That's a good tasting cookie. This will definitely cure that sweet tooth of yours, and in a low carb way without really affecting too many calories. I'll have the calorie count down in the description there of each cookie after I figure it out. So like the video, subscribe to the channel, and I'll catch you in the next one.